Max's Journey in New York. Chapter 1. New Beginnings. Max stands in the middle of a big airport in New York. He feels excited but also a little scared. He has one big bag and a small backpack. In his backpack, he has a sketchbook and some pencils. He loves to draw. He thinks, New York will be my new home. I hope I can make friends and learn English fast. He goes to a cafe. It is very busy. People are talking fast. Max feels nervous. He thinks, how do I order coffee in English? He stands in line and watches. When it is his turn, he says slowly to the lady at the counter, "One coffee, please?" The lady smiles and says something fast. Max does not understand, but he smiles back. Max takes his coffee and finds a table. He takes out his sketchbook and starts to draw. He is good at drawing. Drawing makes him happy. He forgets he is nervous. A woman sees Max drawing. She walks to him. She has bright eyes and a big smile. Her name is Sarah. She says, "Hi, I'm Sarah. I like your drawing. Do you speak English?" Max feels happy that someone likes his drawing but worries about speaking English. He says, "Thank you. My English is not good. I am from France." Sarah sits down and says, "That's okay. I can help you with English if you like. Do you want to be friends?" Max nods and smiles. He says, "Yes, I want to learn English. Can you teach me?" Sarah says, "Of course, and maybe you can teach me to draw. I love art, but I'm not good at it." Max is very happy. He thinks, I made a friend. Maybe New York will be great. They talk more. Max tries to speak English. He makes mistakes, but Sarah helps him. Max feels less scared. He thinks, I will learn English and make more friends. Max and Sarah plan to meet again. Max feels excited about his new life. He thinks, I will draw and learn English. This is a good start. This is the beginning of Max's adventure in New York. He feels ready to learn and grow. He is not alone. He has a new friend, Sarah. Chapter 2. Cultural Immersion. Max wakes up early. Today, he is going to explore New York City. He feels excited and a bit scared, but he thinks, today will be fun. I will see many new things. He takes his sketchbook and leaves his small apartment. The city is very big. There are many cars and people. Max walks down the street. He looks at everything. He sees tall buildings, small shops, and many parks. Max stops at a park. He sits on a bench and starts to draw. He draws the trees, the birds, and the people walking. Drawing the park makes him happy. He forgets his worries about speaking English. A little while later, Sarah comes to the park. She finds Max drawing. She says, "Hi, Max. Your drawings are beautiful. Are you enjoying the park?" Max smiles and says, "Yes, I love it here. There is so much to see." Sarah sits next to Max. She says, "I'm glad you like it. There is a community center nearby. They have English classes. Would you like to go?" Max thinks about it. He feels nervous but also excited. He says, "Yes, I want to learn English. Let's go." They walk to the community center together. It is a friendly place with many people from different countries. Max feels a little shy, but Sarah is with him. They meet the English teacher. Her name is Ms. Brown. She is kind and smiles a lot. She says, "Welcome, Max. I'm happy to see you here. We have fun in our classes. You will learn a lot." Max feels better. He says, "Thank you, Ms. Brown. I'm happy to be here." The class starts. They sit in a circle. Ms. Brown says, "Today, we talk about our favorite foods. Let's start with you, Max." Max thinks hard. He says, "I like pizza. It is delicious." The other students smile. Some nod because they like pizza too. After class, Max feels happy. He learned new words. He spoke English. He thinks, this class is good. I will come back. Sarah and Max leave the community center. Sarah says, "You did well today, Max. Keep trying. You will get better." Max feels proud. He says, "Thank you for helping me, Sarah. I will keep learning." They plan to meet again for the next class. Max goes home. He feels tired but happy. He thinks, "Today was a good day. I am learning English and I have a friend. I like my new life in New York." Chapter 3. Building Confidence. Max wakes up feeling excited today. He remembers that today is the day of the local art exhibition where he will show his drawings. He thinks, "This is my chance to share my art with others. I hope people like it." He prepares his drawings carefully and puts them in a big folder. He wears his favorite shirt and jeans. He looks in the mirror and says to himself, "You can do this, Max. Be brave." He arrives at the exhibition. There are many people and lots of art on the walls. Max feels nervous. He thinks, "So many artists and people. Can I talk about my art in English?" Sarah comes to the exhibition to support Max. She finds him and says, "Max, your art looks wonderful. You will do great." Max smiles and says, "Thank you, Sarah. I am nervous about speaking English." Sarah says, "Don't worry. Just speak slowly and clearly. I am here to help if you need me." Max sets up his art. People start to come over to look at his drawings. A woman looks at one drawing and says, "This is beautiful. What inspired you to draw this?" Max takes a deep breath and says, "Thank you. I love nature. This drawing is of the park near my home. I sit and watch the birds. It makes me happy to draw them." The woman smiles and says, "You capture it very well. Keep drawing. You are talented." Max feels happy and more confident. More people come to talk to him. He explains his art. He makes some mistakes in English, but people understand. They like his art. Max feels proud. After the exhibition, Sarah says, "You did amazing, Max. How do you feel?" Max says, "I feel great. People liked my art. I spoke English better than I thought I could." Sarah says, "See, you are improving every day. Your English and your confidence are getting better." Max goes home feeling very happy. He thinks, "Today was a good day. I shared my art and spoke English. I am growing and learning. I am glad I am here in New York." He looks forward to more days like this, feeling more confident about his art and his English. Chapter 4. Expanding Networks. The next morning, Max wakes up feeling motivated by the success of the exhibition. He decides to explore more opportunities to interact and practice English. He remembers Sarah mentioning language exchange meetups and thinks, "Maybe I can learn more English and meet new friends there." Sarah calls Max. She says, "Hi Max, how are you today? I found a language exchange meetup happening this week. Would you like to go with me?" Max feels excited. He replies, "Yes, Sarah, that sounds great. I want to go. Thank you." They plan to meet at the venue. It's a cozy coffee shop where people from different countries come to learn languages. Max feels a bit nervous, but also curious. He thinks, this will be a good place to practice speaking English. At the meetup, Max and Sarah walk into a room full of people talking. Sarah introduces Max to a few people. They are friendly and interested in his story of coming from France to New York. One person, a woman named Lisa from Brazil, asks Max, "What brings you to New York?" Max answers, "I came here to improve my English and show my art. I want to be an artist here." Lisa smiles and says, "That's wonderful. How do you like New York so far?" Max replies, "I like it a lot. It is big and exciting. There is so much to see and do." As they talk, Max feels more comfortable. He tries to use new words he learned in English class. Sometimes he makes mistakes, but people help him. They share their experiences and tips for learning languages. Lisa says, "We meet here every week. You should come more often. It's a good way to learn and make friends." Max feels happy to be part of this group. He says, "Thank you, Lisa. I will come next week too. After the meetup, Max and Sarah talk about how the evening went. Max says, I met many nice people. They were all trying to learn another language. It makes me feel not alone. Sarah says, I'm glad you liked it, Max. It's good to have friends who understand what it's like to learn a new language. Max goes home feeling encouraged. He thinks about the new words he learned and the conversations he had. He writes them down in his journal. Max looks forward to the next meetup. He thinks, I will keep practicing. Every day I get a little better. New York is helping me grow. His network of friends is expanding, and so is his confidence in speaking English. Chapter 5. Overcoming Setbacks. One sunny morning, Max checks his email and sees an invitation to discuss a potential gallery showing off his artwork. The email is in English, and Max tries hard to understand all the details. He feels excited, but also a bit confused about the time and date. Max marks the date on his calendar and prepares his portfolio. He thinks, this is a big chance for me. I must do well. On the day of the meeting, Max arrives at the gallery. He walks in with a big smile, ready to show his art. But the gallery is quiet, and there is no one there to meet him. Max waits. After a while, a woman comes out and says, Can I help you? Max explains, I am here for the meeting about showing my art. The woman looks confused and checks her computer. She says, Oh, I'm sorry. That meeting was yesterday. You must have made a mistake. Max feels his heart sink. He realizes he misunderstood the date in the email. He says, I am so sorry. I did not understand. My English is not perfect. The woman is kind and says, It's okay. These things happen. Let's reschedule the meeting for next week. Max thanks her and leaves the gallery feeling disappointed and a little embarrassed. He thinks about what went wrong and decides to talk to his English teacher, Ms. Brown, about it. The next day in English class, Max tells Ms. Brown about the mistake. He says, I felt so bad. I missed an important meeting because I read the date wrong. Ms. Brown listens and says, Max, it's okay to make mistakes. It's how we learn. What's important is what you do next. Max nods and decides to start a journal in English to write about his day and practice reading more carefully. Every evening, he writes about what he did, what went well, and what he could improve. Max also asks Sarah to help him practice reading emails and setting appointments in English. Sarah agrees, and they spend time together going over email phrases and calendar dates. Sarah says, You're doing great, Max. Keep practicing and you'll see improvement. Max feels encouraged. He thinks, I will not let this mistake stop me. I will learn from it. By the time of the rescheduled meeting, Max is better prepared. They double-check the date and time with Sarah before going. The meeting goes well, and the gallery is interested in his art. Max leaves the gallery with a smile. He thinks, I learned something important. Even when things go wrong, I can find a way to make them right. He continues to write in his journal and feels more confident with each passing day. Max knows he is getting better at English and is determined to succeed in New York. Chapter 6. Integrating Art and Language. After the successful meeting with the gallery, Max feels inspired to start a new project that combines his love for art and his journey in learning English. He decided to create murals around New York that represent the diverse cultures of the city's residents. He thinks, this project will help me practice English and connect with the community. Max talks to Sarah about his idea. They meet at a local cafe, where Max sketches his ideas on a napkin. He explains, I want to paint murals that show stories from different people in New York. It can bring people together and show the beauty of all cultures. Sarah smiles and says, That's a wonderful idea, Max. How can I help? Max replies, I need to find places to paint and talk to people about their stories. Can you help me talk to shop owners and community centers? Sarah agrees. Of course, I'll help you. Let's start by talking to the owner of this cafe. They speak with the cafe owner, a friendly man named Mr. Lee, who is excited about the idea. Mr. Lee says, "You can paint a mural on this wall outside. I love art that tells stories." Max feels grateful and excited. He says, "Thank you, Mr. Lee. I will make something beautiful." With Sarah's help, Max talks to more shop owners and community leaders. He practices his English and learns to express his ideas more clearly. People are supportive, and Max finds several spots to paint his murals. As Max starts painting, people stop to watch and talk to him. He listens to their stories and incorporates elements into his murals. While painting, Max often speaks with the onlookers. One day, a little girl asks him, "What are you painting?" Max explains, "I am painting a mural about New York and all the people who live here. Each part of the mural shows different people and their cultures." The girl says, "It's like a big, beautiful puzzle." Max laughs and agrees. Yes, exactly like a puzzle. We all fit together to make this city special. Every mural Max paints helps him learn new words and phrases. He feels more connected to the community and more confident in his English. People start recognizing him as the artist who paints the city's stories. One evening, as Max finishes a mural, Sarah comes to see the finished work. She says, "Max, you're doing amazing work. You're not just learning English, you're part of the community now." Max smiles, feeling proud and happy. He replies, "Yes, I feel at home here now. My English is getting better because I use it every day, and I meet new friends." Max continues his project, excited about each new mural and conversation. He knows that with each brushstroke and each new word he learns, he's not only improving his art, but also his new life in New York. Chapter 7. Advanced Learning Techniques. As Max's mural project progresses, he becomes more involved in the community and more confident in his English skills. Inspired by his success and motivated to improve even further, Max decides to take advanced English classes. He hopes to enhance his professional communication, especially during public speaking events. One morning, Max discusses this new goal with Sarah at their favorite coffee shop. Max says, "Sarah, I think I need to learn more English to speak better at events. I want to explain my art clearly to everyone." Sarah nods and replies, "That's a great idea, Max. There's an advanced English course at the community center that focuses on professional skills. It could be perfect for you." Max feels excited and a bit nervous. He decides to enroll in the course. In the first class, the teacher, Mr. Thompson, introduces the concept of integrating creative expression with language learning. He says, "In this class, we will use different techniques to improve your English, especially for public speaking and professional interactions." Max is intrigued by the idea of using creative methods to learn. Mr. Thompson explains, "One technique we'll use is role-playing. You'll pretend to be at an art gallery opening, discussing your work with guests. It's a safe way to practice speaking publicly." In class, Max participates in a role-playing exercise. He pretends to be at his gallery opening, talking about his murals. He explains, "This mural represents the diversity of New York. Each color and shape reflects different cultures living together." After the exercise, Mr. Thompson gives feedback. "Max, your description is good, but let's work on making your explanations clearer and more engaging." Max listens carefully and works hard to improve. He practices speaking at home in front of a mirror and records himself to hear his pronunciation and flow. In another class, Mr. Thompson introduces the technique of storytelling. He says, "Storytelling can be a powerful tool in art. Telling the story behind your work can connect more deeply with your audience." Max embraces this technique. He starts crafting stories about his murals, focusing on the people and experiences that inspired them. He practices these stories with Sarah, who gives him tips on expression and vocabulary. Sarah says, "Your stories are getting better, Max. They're interesting and heartfelt. You're really improving." Max feels proud and continues to refine his stories. he will use these skills at his next public art showing. Standing before a crowd, Max shares the stories behind his murals. He speaks clearly and passionately. After the presentation, many people complimented his work and his improved English. An elderly woman tells him, "Your words brought your paintings to life. I felt like I was part of your story." Max feels a surge of happiness. He realizes that his hard work in learning English has paid off. He thinks, "My English is not just better, it's helping me share my heart and art with others." Encouraged by his progress, Max remains committed to learning and using new techniques. He knows each step forward in his language skills opens more doors for his art and personal connections in New York. Chapter 8. Giving Back and Moving Forward. As Max's confidence in both his art and English grows, he begins to think about how he can give back to the community that has helped him so much. He decides to start teaching beginner art classes in English to other non-native speakers. This way, he can help others improve their English while sharing his passion for art. One afternoon, Max sets up his first class at the community center where he first learned English. He prepares canvases, paints, and brushes. As the students arrive, Max greets them with a warm smile. He says, "Welcome, everyone. I'm Max, and I'm excited to paint with you today." The students are from different countries, and like Max, they are eager to improve their English and learn about art. Max starts the class by introducing simple art techniques. He says, "Today, we will learn about colors and how to mix them. It's like learning new words in English. Every color has its own beauty." As they paint, Max encourages his students to talk about their work in English. He walks around, giving tips on both painting and language. He hears one student, Anna from Brazil, struggling to explain her idea. Max helps her find the words. Anna says, "I want to show the sunset over Rio. It's very beautiful." Max replies, "That sounds wonderful, Anna. You can start with these orange and purple colors for the sunset." Throughout the class, Max feels a sense of fulfillment. He sees how art and language can come together, helping people express themselves more freely. After the class, the students thanked Max, telling him how much they enjoyed it. One student, a young man named Ahmed, says, "Thank you, Max. This class was fun, and my English feels better already." Max replies, "Thank you all for joining today. I hope to see you next week. Keep practicing your English and your painting." As the weeks pass, Max's art classes become popular. More students join, eager to learn and share. Max feels happy to be able to give back to the community that has supported him. He continues to take advanced English classes to improve his skills further. One evening, as Max reflects on his journey, he realizes how much he has grown. He thinks, "When I first came to New York, I was afraid. Now I have friends, my art is known, and I can help others." Max plans to organize an art exhibition featuring the works of his students. He wants to showcase their talent and their stories through their paintings. He discusses the idea with Sarah, who is thrilled. Sarah says, "Max, that's a fantastic idea. It's a great way to celebrate everyone's progress. Let's start planning it." Together, they begin to organize the event. Max feels proud and excited about the future. He knows that no matter what comes next, he has the tools to succeed and make a difference in his community. This chapter closes with Max looking forward to the exhibition and continuing to embrace new challenges, always ready to learn more and share more. The end. The story you've provided is written at the A1 level of the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, CEFR. This framework is used internationally to describe language ability on a scale from A1, beginners, to C2, mastery. Here's how the story aligns with A1 characteristics and some examples to illustrate. 1. Vocabulary usage. A1 level focuses on basic personal and family information, shopping, local geography, employment, etc. Example from the story: terms like colors, sunset, paint, and basic greetings like welcome everyone are typical A1 vocabulary, centered around everyday subjects and simple, concrete exchanges. 2. Sentence structure. A1 level uses simple sentence structures and very basic grammar, including high-frequency verbs, basic pronouns, articles, and adjectives. Example from the story: sentences like, I want to show the sunset over Rio. It's very beautiful. Demonstrate simple present tense usage and straightforward subject-verb-object constructions. 3. Grammar. A1 level. Limited to elementary grammatical constructions such as present simple and can for ability, permission, requests, and offers. Example from the story: use of simple present tense in sentences like, Max starts the class by introducing simple art techniques. 4. Interaction ability. A1 level can interact in a simple way provided the other person talks slowly and clearly and is prepared to help. Example from the story: dialogues are short and clear, such as, Thank you, Max. This class was fun, and my English feels better already. This shows simple, direct communication suited to A1 learners who need clarity and brevity. 5. Communicative functions. A1 level, able to get across what they want at a very basic level, using simple questions and answers for areas such as basic personal details, some everyday situations like shopping or local geography. Example from the story: Max helps her find the words. Anna says, I want to show the sunset over Rio. It's very beautiful. This illustrates a basic communicative exchange where the learner is able to express an idea with help. 6. Understanding and responding. A1 level can understand and use familiar everyday expressions and very basic phrases aimed at the satisfaction of needs of a concrete type. Example from the story: the interaction where Max offers help by suggesting colors for Anna's painting, and Anna's ability to respond, albeit with help, shows the A1 level of understanding and replying to simple, direct speech. This level is suitable for introducing learners to the English language, providing them with enough ability to handle basic interactions about familiar topics. The story, by using simple language and clear, concise dialogue, effectively caters to an A1 level audience, making it an excellent educational tool for early language learners. Here are 10 words and phrases from the story explained, including their meaning, examples from the story, and examples of how they might be used in real life. 1. Greet. Meaning, to welcome someone with words or actions. Story example. As the students arrive, Max greets them with a warm smile. Real-life example. You might greet your neighbor with a wave and a good morning when you see them outside. 2. Participate. Meaning, to take part in an activity or event. Story example. Max participates in a role-playing exercise. Real-life example. Students often participate in school activities like sports teams or music clubs. 3. Encourage. Meaning, to give support, confidence, or hope to someone. Story example. As they paint, Max encourages his students to talk about their work in English. Real-life example. A coach might encourage players by praising their efforts during a game. 4. Feedback. Meaning, information about reactions to a product, a person's performance of a task, etc., used as a basis for improvement. Story example. After the exercise, Mr. Thompson gives feedback. Real-life example. After a presentation, your boss might give you feedback to help improve your future performance. 5. Fulfillment. Meaning, the feeling of happiness or satisfaction from achieving something. Story example. Throughout the class, Max feels a sense of fulfillment. Real-life example. Completing a challenging project at work can bring a great sense of fulfillment. 6. reflection, meaning, serious thinking or consideration. Story example. One evening, as Max reflects on his journey, he realizes how much he has grown. Real-life example. You might engage in reflection at the end of the year to consider your personal growth and achievements. 7. Organize. Meaning, to arrange or put in order, to plan or prepare. Story example. Together, they begin to organize the event. Real-life example. You may organize your desk to keep your workspace tidy and efficient. 8. Compliment. Meaning, a polite expression of praise or admiration. Story example. After the presentation, many people compliment his work. Real-life example. You might compliment a friend on their new haircut to show you like it. 9. Commitment. Meaning, the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. Story example. Encouraged by his progress, Max remains committed to learning. Real-life example. Maintaining a commitment to daily exercise is important for health. 10. Enhance. Meaning, to improve the quality, value, or extent of something. Story example. Max decides to take advanced English classes to enhance his professional communication. Real-life example. Using high-quality ingredients can enhance the flavor of a dish. These examples from the story and their real-life applications illustrate common uses of each word or phrase, showing how they can be effectively utilized in everyday language, both for learners and fluent speakers. From Max's journey in the story, readers can learn several valuable lessons, particularly in the context of language learning, personal development, and community engagement. Here are 3 key things. 1. The importance of stepping out of your comfort zone. Learning point. The story illustrates how stepping out of one's comfort zone can lead to significant personal growth and learning opportunities. Max moves to a new country with a different language and culture, which initially poses many challenges. However, by embracing these challenges and actively seeking opportunities to engage with the local community through his art and language classes, Max enhances his skills and builds confidence. Example. Max's decision to participate in the local art exhibition, despite his nervousness about speaking English, shows how taking risks can lead to rewarding experiences and personal satisfaction. 2. The value of practice and persistence in learning. Learning point. Continuous practice and persistence are crucial when learning a new skill, such as a language. The story highlights Max's regular attendance at English classes, his daily conversations with locals, and his personal initiatives like keeping a journal in English. These consistent efforts help him improve his language skills significantly over time. Example. Max regularly practices English by engaging in role-playing exercises in class, talking with new people at meetups, and seeking feedback to identify areas for improvement, demonstrating how persistent practice can lead to mastery. 3. Community support in personal development. Learning point. The story underscores the importance of community support in personal and professional development. Max benefits greatly from the support of friends like Sarah and his English teacher, as well as from the broader community at the language exchange meetups and the community center. This support not only helps him learn English more effectively, but also integrates him into the community, making his transition smoother and more enjoyable. Example. When Max starts teaching art classes, he gives back to the community that supported him. This mutual support system illustrates the role of community in fostering personal growth and creating a sense of belonging. These lessons from Max's story can inspire readers to pursue their goals with courage, consistently engage in their learning processes, and appreciate the value of community in their personal and professional journeys. This story and voiceover have been provided by English Made Easy. Learn through stories. Copying or re-uploading is strictly prohibited.